go down into some of the actual acquisition mechanics. So, if like for example, I was on the plane coming here, and a prospective client wanted to sign up. She said, "Okay, I'm ready to go. What do I do?" So I have to have a process of how do you sign up and how do we get started. So um, I'll explain what I do, and I have a feeling that you guys are going to have much more elaborate, amazing, sophisticated ways.
In depth I want to go. It's pretty deep. It can be. Okay. Different situations.
So like you guys mentioned last week, I have an intake form, and I said, okay, fill this out, and please pay attention to the specifics of nutrition. For example, I want to know exactly what your typical meal schedule is like now, what food sources you eat, the amounts, the times, your training schedule. I want to know exactly what your day looks like. So that's all part of the intake form, but I emphasize that just in my narrative of how to sign up. And then I have a link, so I can say here, go to my website, scroll down to the bottom of the page, here are these options. And I would have already discussed with them at this point what I think is the best option. So for me right now, I have 3, 6, and 12-month options. I have considered even just doing monthly, where no obligation, no contract, just monthly. We do that with our general population clients at the Diet Doc. For physique coaching, I haven't made that jump yet because I feel like nobody's going to want just 1 month unless something's going tragically wrong with your relationship and they want to bail. So I at least want that 3 or so month commitment. But that was my initial process. Was here's the intake, here's some explanation, and here let's go sign up. So I'll stop there and we'll talk about those next steps. But what do you guys do to get them involved?
So the first thing I do is the initial phone call. Where are we going with this? I do not like my phone call with the client to have anything to do with sales. I do not want them to commit on the phone to me. So what I say to them at the end of the phone call is, hey, if you want to continue with me, here's what I need from you. After what we discussed, I need an email. Tomorrow, next week, next year. What do you want? Do you want to sign up for 3 months, 6 months, a year? Do you want, I offer a one-time payment for it with a discount? Or I now, because of technology has improved, I now offer a month-to-month solution. Because sometimes it can be scary for someone to spend more than $1,000 at a time. But it's a lot more digestible for some people to just commit to $1,000 or whatever your rate may be per month. So I found that was just better. So I say, please let me know in an email, no pressure, whenever you're ready, which package you want, nutrition and training alone, nutrition, contest prep, what the length is, and would you prefer the single invoice with the discount or the monthly? I then forward that to my administrator. I say, please take care of this. And then I tell the individual client, when you've made the payment, please forward that to me. That indicates to me, that, hey, I've paid, I'm ready to start. And then I have the plans out within a couple days. That's my current process that I feel comfortable with.
What have you done?
So when people contact me, it's usually through our site where I have a coaching application. So I have a couple different applications. One's for weight loss, one's for contest prep. So they fill out a specific form. It's actually the type form, so it's custom and behavioral to them. So I'll ask specific questions of, have you ever done a show? Yes, I have. Okay, what shows have you done? If they said no, then it goes to another question. It avoids the show question. So it really feels like it's like a journey they're going down, like I'm talking to them. Eating disorders, I get to know them on a personal level a little bit. I ask random questions of, do you have kids? And so once I get that form, I know a lot about them, and then I call them or schedule something, reach out to them. But in the meantime, after they fill that out, immediately they get an email, and it's starting to get nurtured automatically through automation. So they get 3 emails of nurturing after that of a video of who we are, what do we do, what's our process, and actually a video of the process. And then each day they get like testimonials, they get like more content, more of whatever it is that they're trying to do. If it's weight loss, it's all about weight loss. If it's contest prep, it's all about contest prep, being on stage and winning shows and doing well.
That's the next level.
Impressive.
And so
I need to start taking notes.
And so that's a 3-day video thing. But in the meantime, I'm talking to them. So I reach out to them right away. I try to schedule something if I can get on the phone. I kind of gel or find out their personality, how eager they are. If they're wanting to do it now, I jump on the phone now if I can, or if wait a day or so, or whenever they're free. And so usually by the time I get there and get on the phone, know a lot about what we do, and I know a lot about them, so it's usually a deeper connection when we get on the phone. And so once they get started right away, once I send them a link, for competitors, I only offer a 6 and 12 month option just because of the commitment and Jared talked about. I don't like to do anything less, but sometimes I do 3 months just out of the favor of depending on how they look. Weight loss is 3, 6, and 12. And so I give them a link and it has an option. Every option they click on, they know exactly what they're getting in the form of what we talked about. So as soon as they pay, immediately they're getting put into our app, and they're getting the process of how to use the app, videos of connections, etc. And then they're going through another 7-day video course of welcome to the team. Here's what you do in the first steps, and then you're going to get your program in the next 3 to 4 days. Because I like to have them track and getting used to tracking and understanding food and nutrition and just put stuff in before I even give them their program. So I want to get to know about what their daily habits are like right now and see where they're at and then tell them from there.
So with the videos you produce, what's the average length, and do they respond? Like, do they say, like, wow, that was really good information, or?
Yeah, so I really tell them and I drill into their brain that you have to watch these videos. If you don't, then you're missing out on a big piece of the program. For example, I have a check-in process video. So I'm like, if you miss that, you're going to not understand the check-in process. I'll go through it with you, but you're missing this whole content of how to do it. And so when I stress that, I think I have about 96% of them have actually opened the emails and watched them. So they're about anywhere from 3 to 8 minutes long. So I try and keep them short and concise.
It's impressive.
So yeah, each day they get a video, and then after that I just nurture them personally with additional videos after that.
Okay, so before we get into some of the actual programming steps, I wanna circle back to, because you guys both mentioned price a little bit. I love that you're incredibly direct, Paul, saying, this is, these are your options, do this, and that way it's not that, like, I'm a little nervous about talking about the business side of this. So it's great to have that set up. One of the things I think that is really changing in all parts of culture is that content, and even you can consider this kind of coaching and consulting, very content driven. We're supporting them. We've now entered this phase of social media, YouTube, etc., that is so easy to acquire information that a lot of people are not only out there shopping one coach against another, they might be thinking, well, maybe I can just get so far down the road without anybody, and I'm just going to kind of do this myself. So I think it's harder to monetize information, and you guys have been extremely good at instead making the commodity an experience. You can't get what you guys are giving, a phone call, this kind of a very thorough process, just by going to a YouTube video. So I think that's very important for you guys to understand right off the bat, that you're looking at two guys who've been in this for a long time, and they've created these processes as a way of evolving out of not just their own experience, but out of necessity to stay on top. And I think pricing is always a double-edged sword, where because there are so many coaches out there now, people are price driven and it's very competitive. And I think even at a time, Paul, where you and I might have had our prices extremely high, and now that we're more in demand, you think, well, you can get more and more and more. You and I have actually had to come down out of just, this is where the market is, and you're going to have no clients if you're thinking that you're so good that you can be way up here. But also things like, Tyler, you mentioned not having anything less than a 6-month option. I find that if we can offer things that are more easily to assimilate into somebody's budget, we can win their trust there, and then they'll stay with us. Like I said in the last week's video, I've got clients who've been with me for 8 years, 10 years. I've had clients who I worked with 20 years ago, and now I'm working with their kids. So there's a life cycle beyond just how much can I get from this one transaction, and I think the buying side